right. So I think we downloaded the version 17.2 of Postgres. So we can open the folder we had downloaded to. Then we can start our installation. I think the 17.2 version is the first one as of 2025. Okay, and we validated that the version is Postgres 17.2 Windows x64. Okay, and that is different from the pgadmin file itself. So we can open, okay.
Next, right?
Yes. Next. So tick off command stack builder. You don't need that. So next. Next. So whatever you put here is going to be your password. Please do not forget it. You could even make it easy, just so you remember. So leave it as it is. Next. 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 I think that's the thing about installation sometimes. Um, this is actually taking longer than I expected.
Taking too long.
I
I don't
think
know.
we can be
Can we
doing
just
something
can
else
we
while
start?
it's
Listen,
installing.
guys, Mr. Real One,
So
you don't want to rush your process. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to consider others now.
Right.
Like
We are considering you. Because if your foundation is shaky, everything you put on your data analysis career, what do you think it will happen to it?
soon it's not
So
going
that's
to.
again the point I'm getting at is it's taking long and we are considerate. Yes. But at the end of the day, let us know what it looks like end to end. Like me, as I'm doing this, I'm also timing it. So that when I'm telling somebody else, I can say, look, I've seen this thing take 2 minutes. I've seen it take 10 minutes. You get what I'm saying? Because as you are learning this, you will also make more mistakes. You would also make more mistakes. And the slowness or speed may depend on the space you have, may depend on your memory. It may depend on different factors. A lot of data analysts, they don't show them this part of installation. They just give them a pre-made guide. Oh, it's working, it's working. The day your query is not running properly, how can you troubleshoot it? That's why a lot of newbie data analysts, they are afraid of coding. They will tell you, oh, you don't need Python. Oh, you don't need SQL. Oh, you don't need to know how to install it. Oh, this one is easier than this. You don't want to take shortcuts. So as long as the bar is moving and is not stuck, it may take a while, but slowly and surely, eventually we will get there. That's just my own 2 cents on this.
Thank you very much.
It's a new because if we had a class of 100 people where everybody was on mute, you would have been confused the whole weekend. That's the benefit of a small class size. Or you would have been in different data tech forums posting screenshots. As long as the green bar is moving, you know. Because sometimes what some people may do is they may use this time while it's loading to talk about what they reviewed in the last class. So that, you know, the time is basic multitasking. You know, about why they use Postgres, you know, why some people use it over other platforms. What are some things, what does a data analyst do? What are some things you need to absolutely know in SQL to call yourself a data analyst? All that good stuff. It's all up to you.
Okay, that's actually a good one.
It's up to you guys.
So yeah, the major question, I think a very good fundamental question in this regard is why SQL in the first place? That's a very good. I think that's a very good question to ask because maybe you might have learned Excel to a good extent. You might have learned Power BI to a good extent, possibly, or even Tableau, very possibly. So you come to the extent of now, oh, they say you should learn SQL. Oh, that as a data analyst is good to have. Okay, that's why maybe that idea could have said, okay, let me just follow what they are saying. That as is good as a data analyst to know SQL and things like that. So, but is that really a good enough reason? Kind of ish, if you look at it one way, but that's not. I won't say that's a fundamental reason why you should learn SQL. So the reason why you should learn SQL is because now it can enable you. It is an enabler in a way. You can say it as an enabler. What do I mean by that? It enables you to work with databases. It enables you to understand the database. So we are not just working with plain Excel sheets and, where are you keeping it, first of all? Why are you storing your files in an organization that makes sense? Not just maybe not startups, they may not have something good in place, but like, let's say you're working in a big organization like a bank. Where do banks store their data? Because data has to be stored somewhere. Or any other organization that make, most large organizations that have been there, let's say since 2010, or like for some years, they have a central place where they store their data. Okay, that's a database. Okay, you're learning SQL to be able to communicate to a database as a data analyst, because I don't know if anybody is having any ideas. You can tell me. You can work with it. Like, it's a database communication language, basically. It's not like Python. That's Python. You can do web design, do this, do that. SQL is primarily a database language. So with SQL, you can store, retrieve, update, and analyze data efficiently. Also, yes, and it's an enabler. So not just a data analyst. It's not just a data analyst that needs SQL. Even someone that's a business analyst, a data scientist, software engineer. So basically, as long as you are working with data, you don't just need to understand how to analyze data. I mean, with other tools, you can also do it with SQL. You also need to know how that data is going to be stored, how that data is going to be operated. Basically, you need to know how data is going to be moved from one medium to another. There are different perspectives I could give as to this, but it's very important because you need to work. You need to be facing where there's a place data is stored. How do you talk with that data? How do you interact with that data? How do you bring things from the database? How do you, send things to a database? How do you update the database? SQL. SQL is a solution for that. Structured query language. You're working with tables. You're working with tables, rows and columns. You're working with tables, rows and columns. Structured query. Query is the part of asking questions. Query is the part of trying to find out things. Even the part of updating. Even the part of deleting irrelevant data. Even the part of backing up data. Language. What are you speaking? Okay. With this query that you're writing, okay, who are you communicating with? Or what are you communicating with? A database is the language of a database. I don't know if that was able to give some context, but yeah, you feel free to voice your opinions with regards to this or your perspectives. Okay, maybe I should go on. So it's beginner friendly, don't worry. SQL is not really, I usually say it's not really a programming language in quotes. In quotes, I say in quotes there. Because okay, it's not really a programming language, but it looks sad. It looks like this. I mean, in the name, structured query language. It didn't say structured programming language. So I say it's not really a programming language in quotes. It's a query language. So it's very versatile. It's used in many technologies, even beyond the traditional, you have maybe the traditional premise database. Basically, you have a box somewhere and this is where you store a database, a physical data center, something like that. It's beyond that. It even goes towards like things like big data systems, like and cloud platforms like Azure, AWS, etc. So why are we not choosing Postgres SQL? Why are we saying okay, we want to learn SQL? We can use let's not use MySQL. Let's not use Microsoft SQL Server. Let's not even go towards all this Oracle. This thing. Let's go for Postgres. Like, why are we choosing Postgres? So Postgres, why I would say we're choosing in quote Postgres to pick up SQL is because it stands out in the sense that it has many features about it that are very cool and very good. It's open source and free. It's basically, I think it's completely free to use. There's no licensing fee, no hidden fee somewhere, about Postgres, at least to the best of my knowledge. And it has a very good, like a very large community, like it has support, like it's open source. So usually most open source things that have traction, so to say, that are popular, that are useful, um, usually have very good community behind it, people contributing to it, people reviewing what's going on. You see, we have different updates. Long time ago, not that long ago, when I was using Postgres, I was using version, was it 14 or version 13? Now the version is 17. How did it get from 14 to 17? New people were contributing to the project. Different people contribute to the project. Okay, you have people testing it, you have people doing beta tests. Okay, this new thing that these people contributed to now, does it make sense? Will it break? Can it be used in production? Things like that. So okay, they contributed, tested. Maybe one or two things were fixed, one or two bugs were fixed, one or two updates were made, and now it's a bit faster in a certain way or a certain angle. Okay, version 15 is out now. Okay, people are still contributing, people are still reviewing it, but people are brainstorming. What more can we do? How much more can we make this project better? Okay, they test this, innovate, build, innovate, build, innovate. People are testing. Okay, let's add. Okay, first testing has been done. Let's test again. Let's release it as a beta version. Okay, let new people. Okay, now the beta version has been good. It has been tried. It has been tried. It has been tested again, refined. Let's release it for the public. So just me playing around and talking about open source and open source project. So now we have version 17.2, and that's not where it's going to stop. It's going to keep being refined. People are going to keep contributing, because it's not just benefits the community. It also benefits them. Contributing to open source projects it can be very beneficial to you in your journey as a data analyst, a data scientist, a programmer, etc. So yeah, it has rich features like complex queries. You can write complex queries with Postgres. You can write things like subqueries. Subqueries can get very complex depending on the level you learn to it. So yeah, it has full text search for analyzing text. You can use Postgres to analyze text data. Postgres has things like support for JSON files. So that's like semi-structured, this thing, what's it called? File, yeah. And, working with unstructured data to some extent. So Postgres is also scalable. It can handle large, it can handle small and large, applications. So you can handle things at a small scale, like our classes now. We're not working with gigabytes, like I say gigabytes of data. We're not working with petabytes of data, for example. We're not trying to, we're not, doing any kind of complex project that involves maybe orchestration or something, but it's scalable. You can use it at a small scale, a medium scale, a large scale, an extra large scale in terms of production. Yeah, it's very, there's a lot of benefits.
Mr. Charles, are you here with us?
Very much so.
Yeah, how many people were in your first SQL class?
I think just Mr. Charles.
Okay. Mr. Charles, is that information accurate?
Yes, sir.
In today's class, how many people do we have?
And apart from me and you.
Okay. How many? And I'm going somewhere with these guys, so please stay with me. Okay, so how many people do we have in today's class?
We have 4 in total.
Okay. If you had to translate that to SQL language or put it in your database, what kind of statement do you think you will write? We started with 1, we now have 4. Or let's say we started with 2, we now have 4. I know you've been practicing your queries. So would it be an insert statement, update, or delete statement?
Insert.
You sure? Remember, there was already one student inside there. So are we trying to update that one student? or insert information for the new student?
Insert information for the new student.
I tried to trick you, but you stood your ground. You are correct. What I'm saying is this. The queries, as complicated as they are, they mirror real life situations. But some people are scared of coding. SQL is basically a language which your Postgres or your database understands. I don't know if you understand. Mr. Charles, I don't know if you are with us.
I'm with you, sir.
If I give you an example, if I say Ndo, what does Ndo mean?
If you say what, sir?
Ndo.
Ndo means sorry.
Okay. In what language? Because it's not a universal language. So what language are we speaking when we say Ndo?
Igbo language.
Well, if you say Igbo, no problem. But the point is, different database platforms will use their different language. Mr. Rewan, if I say Benny, what does that mean?
It's yes in Yoruba.
In what language? Because it doesn't mean yes in my own language.
In Yoruba.
Exactly. So it's the same thing. You have different kinds of SQL. You have PLSQL, procedural language SQL, used by Oracle. You have TSQL, Transact SQL, used by Microsoft SQL Server. Then you have what is called ANSI, ANSI-SQL, which is like a universally understood form of SQL. Why is this important? Because somebody may say, if I learn Postgres, can I use this on Microsoft SQL or Oracle? The answer is yes, if your foundation is solid. Like I think Mr. Rewan asked a question, is it case sensitive? Some database management systems are case sensitive, some are not. Something like Postgres or MySQL may require you to terminate every query with a semicolon, but Microsoft SQL Server, TSQL, may not. Any questions so far regarding that?
No, sir.
And it may take time and, rewatching the video to grasp this. SQL is just like a language. The L in SQL is for language. The structured means the data is structured. It is arranged in rows and columns within tables. So you have your server, you have the database. Inside the database, you have what? Tables. Inside that tables, there are rows and columns. As a data analyst, you have to be able to state a business case. Why should your business use a database instead of Excel spreadsheet? Does Excel ask you for password, Mr. Rewan?
No, sir.
By default, no. But to get into your database to access data, it will ask you for password. And like your instructor said, try not to forget your password. There was a very important question that somebody asked. What is the difference between SQL and DBA? DBA is database administrator. Your database administrator, like these kind of things you're doing, responsible for proper installation, ensuring your queries run fast, backup and restore. Is anybody familiar with Amazon? Amazon.com, Jumia.com. Is anybody familiar with them?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is anybody familiar with the concept of Black Friday?
Yes.
If Amazon should go down on Black Friday for 5 minutes, what do you think will happen?
I've lost money. They'll lose money that way.
Lose money, how much? 5 kobo?
Billions.
Billion. But it's just 5 minutes now.
There's a lot of people on that site.
Thank you. That is where your database administrator need to set up proper backup, not even backup safe. They don't want it to go down. So they need to set up high availability, disaster recovery solutions. The data analyst does not do those kind of things. The data analyst will work with the data they have. The database administrator works with engineering and infrastructure. They set up, we have one backup Amazon site in China, one in America, one in Lagos, one in South Africa, one in Germany. So that if something happens to one, the other one kicks in immediately. The data analyst may not really worry about that. We see people write code. They don't even worry if their code is backed up or not. let's be honest with ourselves, and I'll ask us this question as this installation is finishing. Does anybody know when last they backed up their computer? Anybody?
In a while.
To be honest, most people don't know. Maybe it's backing up automatically. Most people don't know. They are not aware. What about your WhatsApp chat? Anybody know how long, when last it backed up, or how often does it get backed up?
You set it on auto to do that every day.
Every day.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because those are the tasks a database administrator is responsible for. So that in case my phone crash, I can easily restore my system. Oh, I'm running out of space. Let us delete old storage. So as lo and behold, it looks like our installation has finally finished. Was anybody timing it? I kind of was.
When I compare this,
Over 30 minutes.
Okay.
when I compare this to mine, it didn't take this long.
Yeah, but was anybody actually having a time estimate?
I didn't time it actually.
Mine, I think my estimate is 35, 40-ish minutes.
About that, yeah.
And the reason why I'm saying it, sometimes it may take 5 minutes. But if I'm going to recommend this to a new person, I will tell the person, budget how much time?
40 minutes.
Thank you. I will not tell the person my own did in 5 minutes. You get what I'm saying, Mr. Rewan?
Yes, sir.
Because I've seen the best and I've seen the worst case.
Yeah.
I will take the worst case that I've seen so far. If it finishes in 5 minutes, better to you. These are your foundation of being an analyst. Any information that comes to you, treat it as data. Does that make sense? So I think we can hit next. Or is this the same old screen that we did the installation?
This should be this same old screen.
Okay, let's hit cancel. Yeah, we can cancel out of
No,
this.
no, cancel this one.
I think, yeah, you can cancel. I think there
Cancel
was
this
a
one. Cancel
duplicate.
this one.
Wait, hold on.
It was a duplicate.
Wait, hold on. Before we cancel it, we can look at the top left, right? It's saying, no, the top left on that screen. Top left. No, the screen you are now, the setup. You see, it says installation directory. So what is it telling us? That this is the installation file.
Directory.
The point as a data analyst, don't be in a rush to click. Sometimes if you take 2 minutes to look at what is on the screen, it may save you 10 hours. Are you guys with me on that?
Yes, sir.
Please, that we can cancel it, but I just wanted to let us know that it says it right there. This is installation directory. So let's cancel this because we don't need this. Yes, we want to abort the installation process because we already installed. Okay. So now what we want to do is look at our PG admin. Okay, let's close that. I think that cancel. Do you want to? Okay. Yes, we want to abort the installation. Yeah, cancel and yes, we want to abort the installation. Okay. So what we did was we installed the server, the engine itself. PG admin is just an interface. You get, I don't know if that makes sense, guys.
Yes, sir.
It's like the way we are talking to you through Zoom. Zoom is just an interface. So what we want to do now is open up the PG admin and see if we can see our servers and our databases. There's also a way to do it through command line, to connect to our database through a command line. But please, you have to know the different kind of SQLs that are available. Your TSQL, your PLSQL, sometimes you even see no SQL. Does anyone have an idea what no SQL stands for?
So,
Feel free to use your ChatGPT. No SQL, because you will see it. For those that are looking for job, you will see it in job descriptions. No SQL. NOSQL. Anyone?
no, sir.
Not only SQL, meaning it can be used for open source. Like you will hear MongoDB. You will hear Cassandra database. You will hear Couch database. Not only SQL, meaning it's used for querying unstructured data. For any of us who's taking notes, please take notes. Okay? Not only SQL is used for unstructured, querying unstructured data. Aha.
So go to servers at the left upper edge. Yes.
It's not showing the drawdown. Or could it be because we have not linked it or something like that?
Oh, it should work now.
Okay.
Close this again, please.
Sir?
Close this again, please. Look for PG admin 4, not 4 V8s. Just close this.
PG.
Yes.
Admin. Ordinary this.
Yes.
This, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And if you notice something at the bottom, you now have two elephant screens. So one is for 4, one is for 4.8. You want to unpin that 4.8 one. The one on the first one, yeah, you want to right click it and unpin it. Okay. So that so this one is running. No, it's running already. Don't close it. It's running. Okay, pin it. Okay, perfect. So again, troubleshooting is part of your job as an analyst. If there are no issues, they will not pay you. You are paid to resolve data issues.
Okay.
But obviously, it's not troubleshooting installation. You are troubleshooting data issues. You can see this in the sheet showing the 4.v versus 8, version 8. Oh.
Will I have to uninstall that one? Maybe that's the reason why.
Did you uninstall it before?
I didn't.
Okay. So do me a favor. You see where that top sign, there's a sign at the top. It looks like a drum and a play sign. At the top.
Yeah, right, okay.
Let's click on that. Because it seems you have not connected to a database itself. That's why.
It's not
clickable. Because normally it's supposed to ask you to connect to your actual server. And it would ask you for your password and all that. Wait, hold on. So, Mr. Charlie, did you have to configure your PG admin after installation? Do you recall?
No, nothing. I didn't do anything. I just installed and then that was all.
I'll pause this now.
Give me a minute.
This 4V.
I just uninstall it.
Uninstall it.
I think it's us. Okay.
No. The screen is still open. Close this now. Close this.
Okay. This is the 4, right?
Close it. Close this. Close this. It's cooking the freezer.
I should close the entire.
I'll open it. Open now.
Can you search for shell? Just on your search, type shell. Let me see something.
On a shell.
Yes. We have the shell here, so from PG admin, from one of them, it's supposed to work, but we'll find a way.
Should I click it?
No. I wanted to confirm because when we downloaded this PG admin, this Postgres 17, we chose the shell, we chose the command line tool, we chose everything necessary. So I was thinking maybe it did not install with it, but we're saying shell.
But this thing is still showing that version 8. Why?
Hold on. Again, let's get back to the basics, right? So, let's close out of this or cancel out of this. So what we want to do, because obviously it's not looking, it cannot find a server. Okay,
Yes.
that's the issue here. It can't find a server for whatever reason. That's the bottom line of the issue. So let's right click. So you see where it says servers on the left hand side. Let's see if it will let us again. You see register and say server.
What should I? Okay. What should I click?
So server. Okay, so let's try it again. Localhost, all lowercase, one word. Localhost. And we do the same thing on that connection. Localhost. If you remember that password that you put during installation, we can
Yes.
that. Okay. Well, let's go back to general. Let's go back to general just to see if it's still having that rate. Okay, now let's click save and let's see. Because we tried this last time, it didn't work.
Okay, now.
It's up. Yeah.
So again, so let's expand the local host and see. You should see databases. Okay. So does this look like what you saw in the video?
I think it's working now.
Yes.
Okay. So again, some of these things, you will need a team, Mr. Rewan. All right. I don't know if you guys are with us.
I'm hearing so.
And here at POSHEM, we are not trying to form, excuse my language, alagbara. We will troubleshoot it on the session so that you will see it. That's where your experience comes from, so that you can say, I have seen this before. I don't know if that makes sense, guys.
Yes, sir.
If we
Yes,
have to research it, we will research it. That's why we beg people, please, please, and please put your screenshot with your issue on the platform. Let others learn from your wahala. So we can right-click databases and create a new database. So if you right-click database.
Database, okay.
Yeah, we are just doing a sample now, a demo. You see create. You
Okay.
can create database. And you can also use your script to create the database. You can call it test, for lack of better terms. Just TEST, for lack of better terms, okay? And if you can even click the SQL, it will generate script for you to do the SQL version. But if you click save, it will create a new database.
Database, okay.
So let's click save at the bottom. Okay. Then on your left, you can see a new database has been created. You get?
Yes, sir.
But just like in the first class, they showed us how to get familiar with this, to navigate this. It will come with time. So if you click on the SQL tab at the top, besides dashboard and properties, no, at the top. Okay, you can see query tool.
Yes.
Query. Okay, here.
Yeah, you can see SQL. That is one way. You can see, does this look familiar? This script, does it look familiar to you?
I've seen something before. This before.
No, now. Let's look at it from an English perspective.
No,
What is
no.
it doing? From what we are reading, what is it doing?
It's trying to.
Let's not overcomplicate it. From an English perspective, what is it doing?
Just listing.
Database.
Like.
So wait, put your mouse on the scripts. Let's see. Let's read. Put your mouse on the script. So what is it doing?
Create database test.
Where is it? SQL is English. It's English. So who is the owner of the database from what we are seeing?
Test.
Postgres.
So, Abby?
Wait
Oh,
now.
yeah,
Again,
yeah.
let's look at what we are reading. Let's just look at what. Forget that you created this database, gone. Forget it. Just look at it from an English perspective. Is creating a database named what?
It's creating a database named tests.
Okay, let's change that name test. Change it to any name you want.
Can it be edited?
You
Oh.
try it now. It's your system. If you break it, you will fix it. that's we are learning by practice. Try and change
Well,
it to anything now.
it can be edited.
Eh. Can you press delete? Let's see. Oh, wait, highlight it first. Now let the cursor show. Wait, no, yeah.
It can delete.
Okay, let's copy. Let's see if you can, it let you copy that from create all the way down to false.
I should highlight it, or what do you
Copy
say?
it now, however you want to copy it.
Okay, I've copied it.
Let's see if it will let you've highlighted it. Let's see if it will let you copy it. Right click. We learn by doing. So let's go to the top left. You see there's something called query 2. On the top left, it looks like a drum or something like that.
This?
Like a drum, yes. Let's click on it. Okay, let's paste that query in here if it will let us edit it now. Because this is where we run queries. So now let's see if it will let us change that name test to anything we want. Again, this is just a practice. It's not letting you delete. Okay.
It's letting me delete now.
So now change it to any name you want. And this is again just a practice. So Mr. Charles, from this script we are seeing from an English perspective, what do you think the script will do?
To create a database called practice.
Simple. There are 2 levels to SQL. One is I can read the script like a layman in English. The other one is I can write it. I don't know if you guys get that so far.
Get it?
That should be your foundation. Can I read this script? What is this script trying to do? Is it creating? Is it deleting? Is it inserting? Okay, where is it inserting to? Where is it deleting from? Does that make sense?
Yes, it
And
does.
when you get exposed to this kind of script, you will now be getting better and better and better. So now how can we execute a script in PostgreSQL? Anybody want to help him? He has written a fine script. How does he execute in Postgres? Any
Highlight
help?
everything. Highlight everything. And then look at the play button.
Play button.
No, what do you do?
Again, that is he's a newbie. He's learning. So there's a play button. So we have to find the play.
Yeah, that's it. But highlight everything first.
And another tip is when you put your mouse close to it, it will tell you what it's supposed to do.
So click on the play button to execute.
Executed successfully. So we may have to refresh on the left side to see if a database true got created. Okay. So we go to the left-hand side where you have local host. Your local host again is your local server. Your left-hand side where you have local host. And you want to check and confirm that your database got created. Okay. So you can minimize, then reopen. Okay. So you check database. Do you see any data? Do you see any database you created? Is it showing? So let's minimize test. It's not showing. Okay, so we right-click databases and say right-click it and say refresh.
Refresh.
Okay, because sometimes when you create something new, it doesn't show up until after you refresh. That is very, very important. I've seen some people spend 4 hours. I created this thing. I ran this script. It is showing.
Don't click on it yet. Don't click on it yet.
Are we all on the same page, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Whenever you make any change, create anything, you can see We have started clicking, click all around. When you have error, I will send you back to go and click. Your foundation is very important. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
As a data analyst, you will have to do what is called root cause analysis. What caused this problem? How can we avoid it in the future? Any questions so far from what we've covered?
No, sir.
Because some of us say, when I practice it, I will get it on my own. You need a team. You will need people to support you. You will need an extra pair of eyes. Are you guys with us?
Yes.
So let us close this, your PG admin, and see if we can open it again with no issues. If all our issues and troubles have gone away for real. Okay. Right. Oh, you can see he has even SQL Server inside.
I have the.
Do you have experience with SQL before? No.
I have
It's
little.
okay. It's
It's just
okay.
self-taught.
It's okay. The data will always speak the facts. Welcome to POSHEM.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see if there will have any success and we'll be able to access databases now smoothly. So you see where it says servers. Let's expand it and see if we'll have our databases there. Okay, you can see now it connects ASAP and it tells you have 3 databases, right?
Yes, sir.
So does it look like we have made progress?
Yes.
Okay. So are we good to move on to something else?
Yes, we can. Thank you very much.
I see the energy and excitement in his voice now. So this is the issue that they may not have told you, Mr. Real One. Do you have any other database management system on your computer?
No. Apart from what's the Microsoft SQL.
Okay, the reason why I'm saying it, your system, you will notice your system start crawling.
Yes.
Because database management system, now it makes sense. That's why your extract and your installation was probably taking time. Because you have 2 heavy duty RDBMS on this system. You have one and you're trying, that's probably why. You lacked computing resources, I think. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
But the concept of SQL is always SQL elsewhere. It's just that you have to practice whatever you can do in Postgres, try to do it in your Microsoft SQL server. I will not tell you, hey, go and install it. If you want to learn it too, you can. But you have to take what you learned in one, transfer it to the other, and vice versa.
Okay,
Any
so
questions, issues, or sorry?
no question and issue.
Okay. Mr. Charles, any questions, issue, or concerns?
None, sir.
Okay, please ask, because these are very important, concepts. And instructor, are you ready to, I guess, with the 29 minutes we have, cook something good for them?
Okay.
Let me leave you guys to enjoy.
So, I'm very happy with where we are. I know this took a while, but at least we are able to have our setup and we should be able to follow. So if you go to the chat, you'd see a Google Drive link I sent to us. I want us to click on that link. So here's what we are going to be doing. I have my own Postgres. I have my own PG admin from my end. And of course, I have my own tables. I have my own data in my own PG admin. What I want us to do is this. I want us to have the same data sets that I also have in mind. So all the tables, I don't know if Mr. Charles, you remember I told you in our previous class that in one of my databases, I had about, in my schema, about 20 tables.
Yes, sir.
And when we're talking about, the create table, something, I was like, okay, it's 20 tables. Now imagine, and I showed you just one of them, and it has several columns. Imagine you had to do that for each, you have to replicate that create table statement for each of the tables to have the same in yours. Like it will be so, like if you had to, it will be too long to follow that kind of step to be able to achieve that in yours, to have what I have in mine in yours. So long story short is that we are showing you an alternative method. Basically, if I back up my things, if I back up something to my Google Drive, for example, just like I'm sharing you a drive link, if I send you the drive link and you download my backup, now you have whatever was my system on yours, and I can also still download my backup in case I'm using it on that system. As long as I share the link and I make it available to anyone can have whatever I have. As long as it's backed up, I send you the backup file, you download, basically. So that's the concept we're going to look at in pgadmin. So I want us to have what I have in my database. You and
That's
Mr.
both.
Charles and Mr. Salam. So basically, we're backing up. I'm going to show you how I back up my database and how you can do so also, and how you can restore. So there's a concept of backup and restore. So I back up something in SQL. If you want to have that backup now, you say restore instead of backup. So backup to save, restore is to download. Backup to save, restore is to download. And there could be several ways of doing this. There's also an automated way that, I won't say automated, there's a way you can write a script to break down your the tables and everything in your database, but that's a bit complicated. And the script, when you see the script, it can be thousands of rules of words and it's a bit complicated. But the easiest way for you to download on your pgadmin my schema, my data, is through the concept of through the acts of backing up and restore. So if you go to the Google Drive link, you will see two files. You would see a schema backup, and you see a data backup. I don't know if you have seen something like that.
Send it to.
Schema backup and data backup. So just download the two of them. Just download the two of them, and I will soon take over, maybe in a minute or two, or just a few seconds. I will soon take over sharing my screen instead. But let's make sure to download those two things. Schema backup, data backup. Schema backup and the data backup. If you also remember, Mr. Charles, when we
Yes,
talked
sir.
about schema, I don't know if you remembered something like that I said a schema is like the skeleton
Yes.
or like the foundation of your data. Like your data is on top of the schema. It's just like how you have a shelf and you have books in the shelf. The books are not scattered anyhow. They're not on the ground. They're not relying in a random, they're not compiled in one random place, tossed anyhow. They are arranged in a shelf. So the shelf is holding the book. You can see it in a way like that. You have in your database, you have your schema, and your schema is what holds your data. It's where your data is on top. So it's like this skeleton, or it's where your data is. You can even say compartmentalized in a way. You can say that because in real life you can have shelves too, and you can have books. Maybe the top shelf is just books on history. The next row in the shelf can be books on math. Next row can be books on English. So not just books in random, everything is arranged, everything is structured, things like that. So that's the concept we're looking at. So I think we should have been able to download the schema and the data backup. So what's going on is I'm going to show you, okay, I'm saving my schema, then I'll save my data. And you can easily do that yourself. Easily do that yourself. So let me take over the sharing of my screen. You cannot start, okay. I will have to wait for the person sharing the screen to, stop sharing their screen. The reason why I'm doing this is we are going to be very soon, learning the basics of querying.
Real one, can you stop sharing your screen?
I think you should be able to start sharing and it will take
Okay.
over. Let's try that.
I think I saw a message. You cannot start screen share while the other participant is sharing.
I'm trying to unshare, but it's not. I think you can share directly, Abby.
No, we're waiting on you, real one. Let's be considerate of others, okay? Let me see the settings. Give me a minute. Sorry, guys.
Real one, look at your
Sir.
top of your screen where you have your SR screen. Those dots there. The topmost. Open
Right
that.
or left?
Top, on top. Where you have SR real screen.
SR. I can't find it.
Okay, hold on. Let me see.
Okay, thank you. So I can go ahead and share my own screen. Okay, host has disabled participants screen sharing. That's what I can see. Please, I'm unable to share my screen.
Yeah, give me a minute.
Until
okay?
maybe the host approves.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So we had to override all that. Just give a minute, please. All right, try now. Okay, so that's again another difference between the data analyst and the administrator. Since we couldn't get, the participant to stop sharing, we had to go in there as an administrator, kick everybody out, then redo it so that the instructor is able to actually share their screen. And please, as a data analyst, you have to understand the meaning, the difference between a database and a schema. Because in different RDBMS systems, they could be called different things. Oracle calls their schema database. They wouldn't call it they wouldn't call it database. They will say, oh, log into this schema, access this schema. I don't know if you guys are with me on that.
So
That is very important. And that is a common interview question to test your understanding of data analysis and query. While we wait for our instructor, to set up his backups as we watch him. Okay, any questions about schema? Okay. Schema, it's very important to know the difference between database, schema, and tables before you start writing plenty queries and coding. Your foundation is very important. It will carry you a long way from data analysis to data science to data engineering. Okay. Please, I am unable to unmute himself.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. So from here now, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about by backup, by restore. So let's zoom in actually to this my database called Egosa. Right? So this is a database called Egosa. I have several databases, of course, going on here. So in my database, we'll zoom into my schema. And I know there's a lot of things going on, but where we should focus our attention, database to schema to tables. I have about 20 tables in my schema. So the thing is, we want to actually get to the basics of querying. So things like the select, things like where, want to understand it structurally, want to understand things like how to query our database. But now, for at least for both of us, we have our database, we have all these things set up, but we don't have the data. We don't have the schema because we have empty schemas, we have empty database. We have not put anything in there. So if we get to the part of, if I say select something from there, you can't select something from nothing. Even if we start, learning the correct proper SQL and things like that, we can't select something from nothing. But I have a data in my database and schema. You see, I have several tables, and these tables actually have data, lots of data. This is about 20 tables. So you can imagine. I want us to have the same on our ends. So that's why I'm bringing the concept of backup and restore. So what you need to do is not backup. What you need to do is just to restore the backup that I created. But I think it would be good for us to know how to backup. So in case we want to restore, or in case we want to save your work somewhere for someone else to have it, you also know how to start or kickstart the process. So what two of us need to do is just restore, but I'll show you how you go about everything from the beginning, from backing up to restoring. So I'm going to do that by backing up my database called Egosa. That's my name actually.
Okay, I think while we wait on that, does anyone have any questions or concerns as to the different ways we could, back up and do our restore?
So apologies for the breaking transmissions. So yes, I was just mentioning that some of these are, you see grayish and red. It just means that database is not active. So I can just make them active by clicking on it. So just so you know. But anyways, let's go back to what we have in place. So I want to show you how we back up my database and how you can also restore. So if you right click on any of your database, you'll see all these options, of course. So the option we should zoom or focus our eyes on is the backup. And you can see above it is restore. So let's back up this database. So when you click on backup, it just asks you for the name. So what I will do, I won't just write my name, whatever name I want to save it as here. Why is that? This needs to be saved as a file format. And if I just write it like this, it doesn't save in the proper file format. What am I showing? What am I talking about? So click on this folder. And you can see if I save it like this and whatever file you see the save type here, what we want to do is give it a good save name. So and give it a good format. So that's why I had to click on the folder to properly give it a name and choose the appropriate format for whatever I want to do. So actually, it's not as if we're just backing up this database once as itself. It's not. It's not just going to be a one-click solution. It's a two-step process. I told you of the concept of schemas. I told us the concept of you have your data in your schemas. So what's going to actually happen when you are backing up your database is that at least with pgadmin, you back it up in two phases. First of all, you go ahead and back up the schema. Next, you go ahead and back up your data. Even when you want to restore this backup, you restore the schema first because I mentioned the schema is like the skeleton, like the base. So you are not going to restore the data that you backed up first. I know this is fast forwarding to restoring. You restore the schema first, give it a place to land, then restore the data. Same thing I'm going to do here. Back up the schema and back up the data. So I'm going to call this schema backup. So schema backup, or I'll just call it schema. And this save type is very important. Very important. We take note of this. This save type, you see .sql file. This save type is your basic. What shows up here is what your basic format when you are saving your query tool. But unfortunately, we're not trying to save this as a query tool something. We're trying to save it as a backup. So we actually click this thing here and you see backup file .backup. So you click on the backup file because we are backing up our schema or our database in a schema in a database. So schema backup, file name, file type, everything is okay. So I click on save. The good thing about Postgres is that most times you don't have to stress yourself or give yourself wahala. You just need to back up the schema. That's the part one. You just give it a name, save it as a backup file, then click on backup. So process started, process completed, awesome. Our schema in our database has been backed up. Now the next part is backing up the data. It's going to be the same thing. So I just click on Ecosa. I click on backup again. Excuse me, I even think I think in the process of talking, I skipped the process. So let's start that again. Sorry. I'll just in the process of talking, I skip the process. I'll click on this backup file. I skipped a very important process. I'll just go to override this. So excuse me about that. I'll override this already exists. Yes. I skipped an important process because if you go to the data options, that's where you see the schemas to backup or the data to backup. So sorry about that. So what you're interested in, what we're doing is backing up the schema. So of course, just the schema option is enough for us. So you go to your data options, you click on only schemas because we're backing up only the schema, then we're backing up only data. Yeah, so interfaces. So very important, sorry about that. So now I'm going to go to general, I'm going to click on backup, and yes, now we are done. So very important, very important, very important. Take notes. Take notes. Thank you very much. So the next thing we're going to do now is back up the data. We're backed up the schema. So go to backup. So it's going to be the same thing. You click on this file, this folder icon. So I will just call this data. And also, we are going to save it as a backup file. Also, so we have our schema backup. Now we have our data backup. And of course, before we forget, you don't have to click on any option here. Just go to
Hello,
data
sir.
options.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I was trying to talk the other time, but I couldn't. Sorry, I tried going into the drive that you shared, but it's not showing anything. I can't open
Not
it.
showing
It's
anything.
giving me.
It's not
I
a
have to
conventional
download it.
file. Did you see object inside? You see anything inside?
No. What's in my
Mr. Charles,
download in my download space? I'm seeing symbol of Explorer inside, as in it's
yes,
showing.
that's it. I think it's due to the apps you have. That's why it's showing symbol of Explorer. But what you need has been downloaded. I saw it
Okay.
also.
Can I now do it on as in how can I open it on the PG admin?
We're getting to that. I'm just showing you how I backed it up.
Okay.
What you are interested in now is restoring my backup, but I want you to understand the process of me backing it up for you to have. So you're just interested in restoring. So
hold on a
yes,
minute, guys.
okay.
Mr. Rewan, do you understand the concept of what's going on so far?
I don't understand.
Okay, what part confuses you?
I thought what the link of the drive that is saying something that will show what is working on, or maybe is linking it. I thought he's linking it to the PG
Okay, so
admin.
when you open the link, what did you see?
It's not opening anything. It's just showing Explorer symbol.
Could you share your screen?
I will now.
Let's see if it'll let you share.
So you cannot start sharing while the other participants share. Okay. Yeah, I'm sharing now.
So let's see what happens when
Can
you
you see?
click. Yes.
Yes.
So when you go to the Zoom chat and click the link, what do you see?
It's showing my download like as this. Let me try it again so that we
No,
all
hold
can see.
on.
Okay.
Hold on, everyone. You've downloaded the files already now.
No, wait, hold on. Let's go to the Zoom chat and let's see. Just give me a minute. Okay.
Okay. See.
So
Can you
hold
see
on.
my screen?
Yes. So when we asked you, and so this is one of the skills a data analyst needs to learn to understand. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Asking question and giving feedback. Mr. Charles, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Because when we asked you, what did you see when you clicked the link? You said you didn't see anything, just a plus sign. Right?
Yes.
But when we confirmed it, what do we all see?
No, probably you don't understand what I'm
No
saying. When I'm
problem,
saying,
Mr. Real One, stay with us.
okay,
The question is, what do we all see?
2
we
files
can
there.
see the files.
Okay, so that means, and this is very important as a data analyst. So, Mr. Real One, I'm urging you to stay with us, okay? Hello?
I can hear you, sir. Yes, I'm with
I'm
you.
urging us to stay with us because this is a common issue of people who have tried to be self-taught. So the point I'm getting at is, as a data analyst, information, data is very important. So sometimes if the person is saying, I did it, you may have to ask the person, show me, let me see. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
It's not that the person is lying. Sometimes some people get overwhelmed with information. They may not know how to articulate it. So this ties in with what Instructor Egosa was saying. He said the files in this folder, these 2 files you see, are the backup files. You would have to download it, which you have probably done because we saw it in your Explorer. But
Yes.
then the next part will be restore. But what Instructor Egosa is showing us so far is how did he get these files at this to look like this? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what he did was he made a backup of those files. Am I right, Instructor Egosa?
You're right, sir.
He made a backup and put it in a Google Drive so that if he wants to give it to me, to you, all he has to do is share that Google Drive link and we can download it. We have not started the restore process yet, Mr. Real One. Are you still confused?
No, not.
So that's what we are with you. And these are common steps. All we are saying in POSHEM technologies, we train you not to be a clicker, but let us think through the process. Let us ask the why. So that we should be able to go back, watch this video on our own and do it. Because most people that are newbies, their own is, oh, my own doesn't look like your own. Why is your own like this and like that? And they panic. Okay? But we are with you is what we are saying. So these files are backup files. He took a backup of his file. So if we go to that, your file explorer, the yellow folder icon at the bottom, you can see it says schema, data schema, right?
Yes.
And as a data analyst, from the data analyzed, it says you downloaded it or modified it at 9:49 p.m. And we can see the time on your system is what time?
9:56.
Again, for me, I will look at that data and compare it just to make sure I'm looking at the right something. It's not that, oh, somebody is lying, no. Because sometimes some people don't even know what they are looking at. And Mr. Charles, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
This can happen in a real world. What if you are taking over from the previous data analyst and you don't know where they kept their files? What will you do?
You'll be lost.
Mr. Hariwan, what will you do?
We don't know where to start from now because
Exactly.
there's no.
It can happen in real life. So you are not wrong. You get, so when we say, okay, can you just show me? Let me see. I don't know if that makes sense.
Makes sense, sir.
Because or else we will be going back and forth. Oh, is it like this? Is it like this? Send screenshot. Do this. Do that. Do this. It is a learning process. And this first stage in most learning process is to unlearn the wrong methods we already have and learn what we tend to call the POSHEM way. And the POSHEM way is 3 steps. You see the process. You see somebody doing it. Are you with me? You see the process. You do the process. You do it by yourself, hands-on. Then you teach it. Some people try to do it before even seeing it, somebody else doing it. What do you think will happen? Hello? If you keep us mute, I will keep you mute when you ask question. No? Well, definitely, they know me for that. They know us for that. If you try to do a process that you have not seen it work successfully, what do you think will most likely happen?
You get lost.
Mr. Ariwan, what do you think will happen? You will struggle. So I know we have about 3 minutes to do a restore. Instructor Gosa, are you still on board?
Yes, sir, I'm on board, sir.
Okay, so Mr. Riwan, Mr. Charles, that's what he was trying to explain to us, how he got those files to that location. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
From a real life perspective, when can that happen? Imagine one of the banks buys another bank. How will they transport their data from one bank to the other bank if they have a merger? Any idea?
They would
They will back up and restore.
Restore both ends.
They will back up on one server, all our servers backing up. We are moving it to this server. But to restore it, they may need to give them access to the new infrastructure, sir. True or false?
True, sir.
That is the whole concept from a real life perspective. Look at it like you're moving from one house to another house. Okay? Your schema is like your room. Your database is like your house. Does that make sense, Mr. Real One?
Yes, sir.
It's like, look at it like you are moving from one house to another house. You pack all your load, back it up inside truck or korokbe, depending on how much stuff you have, and you move it over to the new house. Okay? Because the one you saw in that Google Drive is the truck, is the load inside the other truck. That's what you saw. That's where the instructor kept those files and folder. So now what he wants to show us is what happens after we download those files. So can we begin with can we look at the instructor if you can? Can you look at the file explorer and see how we can begin the restore process? Or have we already started it? Or we are just still in the backup side? Okay, I think.
Okay, we're just backing up the data now.
Okay.
So remember, to back up the schema, you just click on only schemas. So for the data, you are only interested in only data. So that's the data in the schema. So you just only click on that. So I saved it as data backup, as data, the backup file for the data. I made sure I went to the data option. Let's not forget, like I forgot. So now I'm backing up the data. So as a backup file, if you check, it's not a .sql file. Or is it because I'm clicking on it again? But anyhow, because I clicked on it again, so I'll just call it backup or data. Backup. So a backup file, I think I'll just call it data because you see .backup. I don't see backup twice. So yes, because check only data. That's very good. So I click on backup. Process started, process completed, good to go. So now, how do so I backed up this database. It's EGOSA database, notes to self. So if you go all the way down now, that's in Postgres 16. If I go to a new database now, see this POSHEM 2025. If you go to the, okay, this is the one we created in class, if you remember, Mr. Charles,
yes,
the students table. So basically, I want to restore that now in this POSHEM 2025. But usually speaking, though, I would say when you want to restore a backup, I would usually advise you to, restore it in a new database, just in case, yeah, in a new database, because you might, the one we backed up now might have some, let's say, dependencies or some settings that this one we're already using before did not have, or maybe that we have changed in the one already using before. So it's always good to create a fresh, in my opinion, create a fresh database. That, so I'll just create a new database. It's always very nice to do that. I would say POSHEM class 2025. So yes, I can say this. Save. So POSHEM class 2025. I'm going to restore that backup of Egusa into POSHEM class 2025. So I might even delete this if I feel like. So right click on POSHEM class 2025 and you see restore. It's all the way there. Click on restore. So format, you can leave it as that because remember it's a .backup file. So we are not specifying any format here. What we're looking for now is the file. It asks you for the file name and it shows you the folder. Anytime it shows you any folder icon around something like name, it means that you can just click on the folder to look for it. So first thing we are going to restore is we're going to restore the base, the foundation, the shelf for where we are going to put the data later. So it needs to always have a base to put some, you need to have the skeleton, right? And the schema is the skeleton of your data. I can't just restore my data, then restore the schema. It will be an error because like, okay, where is this data going to land? There's no, like, remember when we go to the schema, you see tables. And if you remember, Mr. Charles, when we wanted to bring data inside this thing, we had to create table first, right?
Yes.
Then insert into a table. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Create table, insert table. So imagine me just saying I want to restore data into what table? Or into what tables in our case? So that because like if there's no table, how it won't go well, there'll be an error. You see process started an error. And it's not in Postgres or in pgadmin seeing that red. If you see an error, if you are used to seeing an error, you understand that it's not fun because sometimes you're cracking your brain on how to solve it, and it can be. But that's also part of your work, being a detective, being able to troubleshoot. So, with that in mind, we are going to restore the base. We're going to restore the schema backup first, so that we have this table structure for our data to enter. So go to schema backup. So data options, you don't have to worry in this case. Or do you? You don't have to worry, I'm kidding. You don't have to worry in this case because, it's the schema. When we backed up the schema, only schema was already clicked. So you don't have to worry about anything here. It's only the schema that's here. So we're leaving it as that. So we can click on restore. Process started, process completed. So we all saw me creating this database and it was empty before. I didn't check it though, but of course I created it. The schema is going to be empty. But let me refresh this now. Let me go to the database. Let's go to the schema. Let's go to the tables. Do we see anything? We see things. We are seeing the 20 tables, if you remember.
Yes, sir.
That I had in the Egosa database. Of course, if I say, for example, I want to look at the actor table and I say select all from actor, I won't see any data, but I will see table structure of actor. Okay, in this case, I saw data. Oh,
that's because, and I can tell us why. Because sometimes, again, depending on the RDBMS system you use, when it brings in the schema, it brings in data as well. And what some people do is they would get data from, let's say, MySQL, put it in an Excel spreadsheet, then re-export it to Postgres SQL. Because from what we can see this is a movie database. It's talking about the actors, the addresses, even the films, the payment, the film category, and things. What some people do, they may even mix it with multiple data sets. like, you know, actors, customers, and things. So it's not, again, about the project you just work on. It's how well do you understand data? It's how well do you understand the data? You get, because when you understand it, you can bring data from Excel. No matter what, some people will say, oh, go to oncargo.com, COVID data set, Maven movies data set. If you see a data set that you worked on, you will know. You will know that, okay. Some people will say, oh, I need real life data. Again, it's all on your concept and fundamentals. Can you translate this to a 5-year-old? That's the question we should always ask ourselves as we round up today's class, which instructor showing us, you know, how to back up and restore data and schema. So any questions, concerns, or comments so far from today's session?
From my end, none so far.
No question too from him.
Okay. So I guess, would we say this is a safe place to end today's class?
Yes, sir.
Or do we want to keep going? Let's call it a safe space for today, and a safe spot, and let's call it a day. But please, if you can, try to work together as a team. Ensure you know you review your videos. And please, please, and please, guys, check your emails and respond. In a real world, communication will take place through emails, not a WhatsApp or Telegram platform. Okay? All right. Thank you, guys, and everyone. Please have a good
Thank you.
weekend rest. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Al. Thank you.